moms, welcome back to the channel. Today we are continuing with our Humanizing Moms series, and we are talking to Caitlyn. She is a stay-at-home mom of two adorable boys. They are 4 and 7, and she's gonna tell us a little bit about her mommyhood journey. Caitlyn, whenever you're ready, we're ready for you.
Hi, how are y'all?
Good, how are you? Good, how are you?
Good. Yeah, so I'm excited. Angel had found me on Facebook. She was a friend of my husband, and it's also my post, and asked me to come on here and talk about my story. So I'm excited to be here.
We're excited to have you.
I will go back to the name. So I met my now husband when I was in a stage of my life where the only thing that mattered really was partying and trying to make it to school on time when I was in college. We had what I figured would be a summer fling relationship. Nothing too serious is what I told myself. Until I found out I was pregnant. And so I remember sitting on my bathroom floor, freaking out, crying, not knowing what to do. And I called him, and at the time he was working at a gym, which is very on brand for him if you know him. That's
yes.
But he was working at a gym. And I remember he was running on the treadmill, and I could hear him running, and I said, I need to talk to you. And he was like, can I call you right back? I'm almost done with the workout. And I'm like, no, we need to talk now. I'm pregnant. Like, I just blurted it out, which was not the way I had planned to tell him. And I could hear his footsteps literally slowing down. And I was like, I don't know what to do. And he's like, well, what do you mean? We're going to have a baby. And so he, from the get-go, was very, very, like, on board and supportive. And really, like, helped put those fears to the side for me. And so my next hurdle was telling my parents, who I was still living with at the time. My mom was a middle school counselor and very hard on me growing up, just with expectations that she had of me. I'm like a total daddy's girl. And should do no wrong in his eyes, but for my mom, she had expectations of college, and, my mom has her doctorate and has very high ambitions for herself. She expected the same from me. And so she got home one day after a long day at work, and I came downstairs, and I was on the phone with Trevor upstairs, and I'm like, I'm just going to go do it. I'm going to tell her. And he's like, are you sure? Like, I would probably just get it done. And I'm like, I have to. I can't wait. So I went down there, and I sat down next to her, and we're just talking, and I'm like, I'm the person who, at the first, like, sign of conflict, or if I get nervous or happy or whatever, my go-to reaction is crying. So before I can even get the words out, I have to talk to you about something. She said, don't tell me you're pregnant. And I said, okay, I won't tell you. And I turned around to walk upstairs. And she stopped me and, of course, sat me on the couch and cried. And she told me that she was, that we were a family, and we were, she was there for me, whatever I decided, and that she was going to support me, and all of that. And, obviously she said that it's a different reaction than she would have expected to have had I had a baby later in my life when I was done with school and everything, but she was so happy that she needed a night to, process it, I guess. So, yeah. So, the next day we woke up, and that was the beginning of my, like, awesome team of support.
Wow.
From that day forward.
That's awesome.
Never wavering. Yeah. So I'm very lucky in that sense, because I know that's not the case for a lot of girls. My high school superlative was most likely to be on a reality show. So it was very surprising for all of my friends to find out that I was going to be spending my 21st birthday, my legal 21st birthday, not the 21st birthday that was on my ID that I had for years.
My
legal 21st
know about that.
birthday, yeah. My legal 21st birthday, 9 months pregnant with a little boy. And it was hard. I had a good pregnancy. I had a lot of support from my family, like I said. I had one friend who at the time I would have considered my best friend. But life changes like that have a way of showing you,
True colors.
when some seasons of friendships need to end.
Yep.
And that was the turning point for our friendship, and it was hard because she and I had spent basically every day together since high school up until that point. And right when I found out I was pregnant, she just knew, like, in her heart that I was going to get an abortion, or that we were going to go on living this like never-ending party fantasy that we had been doing. And I had just gotten back from college, and she was still down there. I was home on break from George Southern, and so when she found out that that wasn't my plan, that it was hard for her to, I guess, kind of wrap around her head. She never really was one to like babies. I don't know if y'all had any friends like that kind of fell off
Yeah.
after motherhood.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, I think, and it's like I've had some that have dropped off, like even just when I became when I moved to Atlanta, and then when I even in times when I've started serious relationships. So yeah, I definitely understand what that feels like.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, but I try not to look at it. I've taught myself, and my mom's helped me to realize it doesn't have to be a negative thing. Like, we don't have to look at it in a negative way.
That's true.
For a long time, I was angry. A lot of changes that happened, and it was just a lot to go through. And, but it doesn't have to be a negative thing. My mom, has always told me everything has a season, and some seasons are here for a lot longer than others. Like, this same season is here for a lot longer. It seems like here in Georgia than any other season. But no, some friendships have, their seasons, and then sometimes those seasons end, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just, making way for the next chapter. And
absolutely.
I try to keep that in mind,
Yeah.
My son went to March 27th, 2012, and I am freshly 21, scared out of my mind, and on my way to the hospital to have my first child. And we get there, and I had a super easy labor and delivery.
Good.
And,
Awesome.
When they do the hospital tour and they show you all the rooms,
Right.
so Trevor and I had done like all of that for our first pregnancy, and they show the room that they show you here at our hospital is this room that's like in the very back of the labor and delivery ward. There's no windows in it, anything, and they just show it to you so you can see like what the bed looks like,
Set up.
Like the little bed that they put the baby on, the warmer and stuff. And they're like, this is the room we use if the hospital's full, or if labor and delivery is full. And, so we just show you this one because there's never any patients. Well, of course, I show up to the hospital, and it was recently the week before spring break, and I guess a lot of the doctors had scheduled inductions for that week, because I don't know if you're aware, but here in Augusta, we have what's called Masters Week, the Masters Golf Tournament. And unless you're an avid golf fan, or enjoy spending 3 hours trying to go 2 miles down Washington Road, you get out of town.
That's right.
Of course, that wasn't the plan for me for this particular spring break. So we show up, and it was funny that we walked back to that room. They brought us to a labor delivery room, and Trevor and I looked at each other and laughed because they put us back in the room that we had nicknamed the dungeon.
The dungeon. That was funny.
No windows, very back at the hospital. So we go in, and it proved to be a good spot for Trevor to take a nap, because there was once we turned the lights off, it was super dark in there. And like I said, I had a very easy labor and delivery. So 7 hours later, I had my very, very large-headed, his head was in the 100th percentile, but cute, alien-looking little slimy ball of love laid on my chest, and my life changed. Immediately, I I don't know. It's that moment that you see in movies that you're like, before you're a mom, you're like, oh, that's so corny. Like, you know, it's just played out. But it really did at that moment feel like everything just aligned. And, you know, I just, like, madly fell in love with this little boy. But once we got home, things started changing for me.
Okay.
So I've always struggled with my mental health. I was diagnosed with depression at a very young age. I was medicated for depression. I still am. Have been since around my 14th birthday.
Wow.
I have spent time inside psychiatric units at the hospital, and yes, they are just as awful as what you see on TV and movies, with bars in the window and sterile white walls, and being I was a very young teen in there with adults, and you know, we just don't really have, especially in this area, the services to help adults with mental health either, but especially for young children. So they kind of stick you in with the adults and watch you through a window like you're an animal in a cage, and you know, just hope that the combination of medicine that they're like shoveling down your throat, that you're getting better while you're there. So I've had those kind of experiences, like, you know, it's always been something that I've had to work at and to keep in my mind. We had made the decision during my pregnancy with both boys, but with Liam, that I was going to stay on the antidepressant that I was on, because as my psychiatrist and my OBGYN told me, the benefits of me being on the medicine well outweighed the risk.
Yep.
That could potentially show up.
Sure.
So
Yeah, makes sense.
I did. I stayed on the medicine, and I had Liam, and I got home, and within the first few days, I could feel myself like changing. Like, I had become very despondent. I was very tired. Which, you know, of course, is understandable and
Just had a baby.
as a new mom. But honestly, those first few weeks when you bring a newborn home, they don't do much but sleep. So, you know, it's not, like, I feel like those really, truly, like, tired nights come, like, 6 weeks in, when they're
Later.
starting to, like, regulate the schedule.
Yep, I would agree with that. Unless you have, like, a colicky baby or something like that. Something that specifically makes them, but I would agree with that, yeah.
Of course, and so, I mean, obviously I'm speaking on my experience.
Oh,
my
yeah.
I didn't have them have any of that. So I was very tired, but it wasn't, like, you know, tired from him being up all night or anything. It was my own thoughts racing so much that I never had a break. About a week and a half after he was born, I experienced what I would consider like my first bout of like postpartum psychosis. I realized that I had been staying awake with the flashlight from my phone pointed at my baby, who was sleeping in a rock and play next to me, every night for about, I'd say, 90% of the night. I would doze off, and then I would come back to and catch myself having fallen asleep, jump up, make sure he was still breathing, lay back down, repeat. So this has been going on for a few nights, but I just could not allow myself to sleep, because I felt like if I did go to sleep, something was going to happen to him, and that it was going to be my fault. And so one night in the middle of the night, I had fallen asleep, and I had a dream, and I don't even remember what the dream was, but it was something that felt like something was like sitting on my chest almost. And so I jumped up, and I ran over. It was dark in the room, and I put my hand on his chest, and I couldn't feel him breathing. So I start screaming at Trevor to turn on the light, and all of a sudden I feel like I can see something, like an object, like a weight that somebody had like laid on top of him. And I was like, it's Christian, I can't breathe, like screaming, and Trevor's like disoriented.
Right.
You know, stands up, is like, what's going on? Not know, you know, freaking out. He turns on the light, And to me, I felt like there was something laying on him. Like, I saw something laying on top of him. And Trevor's like, Caitlyn, there's nothing there. Like, what's wrong? He's freaking out. He goes and calls for my mom. My mom comes running upstairs. She takes me, like, to the bathroom. She's like, just get some water. And, like, I kind of snapped back out of it. But I don't know. Like, it's really, really wild. It's something that, like, it's hard to explain when you have, like, you know, like a psychosis episode where you're, like, seeing things that aren't visible to other people, and it feels so real to you. And it was because I had not been sleeping
for
nights. And so, you know, my mom took me downstairs. She sent Trevor and I downstairs to her room, actually, and she got my dad and brought him upstairs. Trevor and I had just bought a house, and I was scared to move into it still. So we were still staying with my parents because I felt like my baby was safe there. That I had more people to help me watch him at night. And so she sent Trevor and I down to her room to sleep. She stayed upstairs with the baby, and she promised me that her and my dad would take turns staying awake and watching him, and they did. And I was able to sleep for the first time in a while, and I woke up the next day with this feeling of just dread of I can't be the one to keep my baby safe. Like, I can't even keep myself awake to watch him. You know, just those thoughts that, like, you start having in your head of, like, not being good enough. But times 10, because it was also, like, a chemical imbalance in my brain.
Right.
Telling me these things. So, anyways, we went on, and the week went on, and as the week went on, I stopped picking him up. I mean, I stopped, like, just grabbing him up to cuddle him and kiss him. I wanted other people to be the one to do it, because in my mind, I was planning that I'm not good enough, so I'm going to give him to my mom, and I'm going to leave. Like, my mom can take care of him. She can keep him safe. She's done this before. Me and my brother turned out relatively fine. I mean, jury's still out on it, but, you know, we turned out pretty okay. So she's going to be the one to do this. I'm going to leave. I can't tell them where I'm going. I can't let them know that I'm making any plans to do this. I just need to go. And so I started making my own plans, and I didn't know where I was going to go. Like, it was like, I don't know. It was just, I had it in my head, that's what I was doing. That I was going to get out of town, and nobody was going to be able to find me, because I didn't want them trying to convince me to come back, because I could not take care of this baby. And looking back now, it sounds absolutely ridiculous, but for somebody who's never experienced, like, a mental health crisis, I could understand it not making sense, or somebody being like, how could you just so willingly? But to me, that felt like that was me loving my baby, was leaving. And so I ended up breaking down and talking to Trevor about it, and he was like, that's not what's going to happen. Like, we need to get you help. And so immediately I was taken to, I was not admitted inpatient, but I was taken to a place here in town that it's kind of like an emergency, like, crisis response for mental health. And I was given, my medicine was adjusted. I was immediately put into some counseling services. I was given a lot of resources that I tried to reach out to that had waiting lists of 9 to 10 months, which, you know, when you're in a mental health crisis is not super beneficial, but I did find some services, you know, and I'm very lucky, like I said at the beginning, that I have a mom who literally has her PhD in mental health, like, you know, services. She does cognitive behavioral therapy, and this is her field, but it's different when the patient's your daughter, and you're also scared. You know? And so, you know, after I received those services, like, things started looking up. Like, we moved into a new house. I decided to go back to school. You know, I kept up with my regular medication doses and going to talk to my doctor and, you know, really, like, reaching out if I felt myself even a little bit flipping, because I always say, you know, mental health is a roller coaster. Right now, I still am diagnosed with depression and have since been diagnosed with bipolar type 2. That's always going to be part of my story. Right now, I'm in a really good place. I'm on top of it. I have it under my control. But that could switch a month from now, you know? But the important thing is that I'm to a point now where I realize it's okay not to be okay. So it's okay that some days I'm going to wake up and I'm not going to feel like doing it that day. I'm going to feel like it's getting the best of me. But as long as I remember to come up and take a breath of air, you know, as long as I remember to resurface and not to let that depression push me so far down that I'm not able to make it to the surface for that breath of air, I'm still in control.
Hey moms, thanks for stopping by and checking out this installment of Humanizing Moms. If you like what we're doing, let us know by hitting the like button or commenting below. To check out more of the series, make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit the bell to get notified when the next installment is up. Thanks again for stopping by, and we'll see you next time.